Alternating currents and power. The power of resistance circuit is given as P is equal to I square R, where I is equal to I0 sine omega t. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to substitute the value of I in the power equation, and if I do that, I will write P is equal to I0 sine omega t whole square times R. Let's simplify further, and if we do that, we will get P is equal to I0 square sine square omega t times R. Now what I want to do, I want to keep my I and R together. So if I do that, I will write P is equal to I0 square R times sine square omega t. We know that the average or the mean value of I square is equal to I0 square sine square omega t bar, and we know that sine square theta is equal to 1 minus cosine 2 theta over 2. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to simply substitute the value of theta is equal to omega t over here, and if we do that, we will write sine square omega t is equal to 1 minus cosine 2 omega t over 2. Now let's simplify further. So basically, in order to simplify further, I am taking the average or the mean value of sine square omega t. So if I do that, I will write sine square omega t bar is equal to 1 minus cosine 2 omega t over 2 bar. And if we simplify further, we can take 1 over 2 outside, and we can write sine square omega t is equal to 1 over 2 inside the bracket 1 minus cosine 2 omega t bar. Now basically we are finding the average value of sine square omega t. Now let's keep going, and if we do that, we will get sine square omega t bar is equal to 1 over 2. 1 is a constant, so I can write 1 minus, and we are finding the average value of cosine 2 omega t. We know that for a complete cycle, the average value of cosine is 0. So in place of cosine 2 omega t bar, we are going to write 0. And if we do that, we will write cosine 2 omega t bar is equal to 0. Now let's substitute the value in this equation. And if we do that, we will write sine square omega t is equal to 1 over 2, 1 minus the value of cosine 2 omega t bar, which is 0 minus 0. So basically we are writing sine square omega t is equal to 1 over 2, 1 minus 0. Now let's simplify further, and if we do that, we will write 1 minus 0 as 1, and 1 times 1 over 2 is 1 over 2. So we will write sine square omega t is equal to 1 over 2. Now let's substitute the value of sine square omega t bar is equal to 1 over 2 in the equation for the current. So if we do that, we will write I square is equal to I0 square times 1 over 2. Let's simplify further, and if we do that, we will write I square is equal to 1 over 2 I0 square. Now we know that the average power is given as P is equal to I square bar times R. Now let's substitute the values of I square over here from this equation, and if we do that, we will have P is equal to 1 over 2 I0 square times R. Now we know that the root mean square current is given as IRMS is equal to square of I square bar. So basically read it like this. First you square the current, and then find the mean, and then find the root. And that's what we are doing. We are finding the square, then finding the average, and then finding the square root. So if we do that, we will write that is equal to square root of 1 over 2 I0 square. And we got it from here. Now if we simplify further, we will get IRMS is equal to I0 over square root of 2, and if we simplify this term right here, we will get that is equal to 0.707 I0. Now the average power can be rewritten as P is equal to 1 over 2 I0 square R, and we know that 1 over 2 I0 square is basically IRMS square. So if we substitute the value, we will get P is equal to IRMS square times R. Similarly, we can find the AC voltage, which is given as VRMS is equal to V0 over square root of 2 and that is equal to 0.707 V0. Now from Ohm's law we know that V is equal to IR, so we can write the average power, which is P is equal to I RMS square times R. So simply what I'm doing, I'm writing I RMS square as I RMS times I RMS, and if I take 1 I RMS times R, then this will be the voltage, which is V RMS, and we can easily write for this term as P is equal to I RMS times V RMS. The other form to write the power is P is equal to V RMS square over R, because we know that I is equal to V RMS over R, and if we substitute that value, we will get the value of power as this. So we can write the average power of AC circuit is given as P is equal to I RMS square times R, that is equal to I RMS times V RMS, and that is also equal to V RMS square over R. So basically we have three equations for power, and depending on what is given in the question, we can use one of these equations to find the remaining value that is not given, or I should say the quantities that is not given in the question. And this is how we will define the alternating currents and power.